Welcome to the Explainer, where we cut through the noise and give you the clear, actionable insights you need. So, Google dropped a whole bunch of AI news in February, and we're going to break down what it all really means, especially for those of you who are actually building with this stuff. Okay, let's just dive right in. The official recap had everything, new models, big global summits. But let's be real, if you're a developer on a deadline, you just need to know what's signal and what's noise. So that's what we're going to do. Find the signal for you and your team. First up, let's talk about the new tools Google just put in your hands. The big headline from all the February announcements was a pretty major update to the Gemini model family. It looks like Google is really trying to create a much clearer system with different models for different jobs. Now, what's really interesting here is the strategy this whole thing reveals. Up at the top, you've got Gemini 3.1 Pro. That's the heavyweight. It's for the really complex, multimodal stuff, understanding text, images, audio, video all at once. Then you've got Gemini 3.1 Flash, which gives you that top-tier performance, but at a much lower cost. And for everything else, the high-volume, cost-sensitive stuff, there's the workhorse, Gemini 3.1 Flash Lite. You can see Google is trying to cover all the bases, from pure power to pure efficiency. And it wasn't just about the main Gemini models either. Nope. Google also pushed out updates across its more specialized tools. They've mixed pro-level image quality with the speed of Flash, which is a huge deal if you're generating a lot of high-quality images. They've also upgraded their music generation tools, and they rolled out a big upgrade for their specialized model that's built for the really tough fields of science and engineering. So we've talked about the what, but now let's get to the so what. I mean, why should you really care about these little point releases and announcements? This is where we start to separate the routine stuff from the really important strategic moves. An analysis on Dudarik.com just put it perfectly. It really gets to the heart of it. They said, point releases often get ignored. Don't ignore this one if you're using the API directly. And that's exactly right. This isn't just a number change. There are real, tangible improvements here that can make a difference in your day-to-day work. Okay, so here's the crucial part. Gemini 3.1 is basically built to fix the things developers were complaining about in 3.0. We're talking specifically about better instruction following and better code generation. And it's designed as a super simple drop-in upgrade, so it's really low friction to try it out. The best part? If you've been fighting with complex prompts to get the model to behave, there's a good chance you can simplify your code now, maybe even delete some of it. Now, these technical upgrades, they're one part of the story. The other part is all about strategy. It's not just about improving the engine, right? It's also about where they're planning to drive it. And that brings us to the AI Impact Summit in India. It's so easy to dismiss these things as just marketing fluff, but this one really shows a huge part of Google's global AI strategy, and it has direct consequences for developers everywhere. So what does this actually mean in practice? Well, if you look at the signals, we're talking about expanded data residency options in Vertex AI for compliance. That's a huge deal for a lot of regional businesses. They're also launching new startup programs to get more people building on their platform, and this one is critical. They're improving support for local languages. This isn't just about one country. This is Google making a massive push to win over developers in emerging markets, trying to beat competitors on scale and on cost. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Let's make this super concrete. Based on everything we've talked about, here is a clear, actionable plan for you and your team to think about right now. All right, we've broken this down into two main tracks. First, for all you current Gemini API users, your priority is testing. Go dig into the release notes, run your existing test suite against the new Gemini 3.1 Pro model, and really pay close attention to your system prompts. The model's better at following instructions, so its behavior might have changed a bit. Second, for those of you building for India or other emerging markets, it's time to do an infrastructure audit. Check your Vertex AI region setup and see if the new language support solves any of your old problems. And just so you know exactly what you're looking for, here it is. This is the actual entry from the official Vertex AI release notes, dated February 19th. It confirms the preview of Gemini 3.1 Pro. This is your starting point. This is the green light for all your testing. All right, finally, to really understand what's going on, you have to look at what's not being said. Google's monthly recaps are super carefully put together, so what they leave out is often just as revealing as what they put in. So, what was missing? First, pricing. Not a word. The analysis points to it being a drop-in replacement, which is great, but the silence is interesting. Second, nothing about expanding the context window. How much info the model can remember at once. That's a huge battleground right now.
And third, the Notebook LM update was totally absent. This probably means Google's thinking of it as its own separate product now, not just a Gemini feature. These are the clues you gotta watch for in the next few months. And this all brings us to our final thought. While everyone is kind of obsessed with the leaderboards for raw model performance, Google is making this huge strategic play for global scale and accessibility. And the question for the whole industry is this: is winning the high volume, cost sensitive markets going to be a more decisive strategy than just having the single most powerful model? It's a question that's probably going to define the next whole phase of this AI race.